What's going on, Hoops Tribe? We have had a week of exciting basketball. I usually do my podcast on Sundays, comes out Sunday night, but there was just too much going on for me to hold off to Sunday, so I wanted to check in now. Game 2, Indiana versus Atlanta. In the first game, Atlanta escaped with a victory after having a fourth quarter meltdown in the last 5 minutes, but in this second game, they weren't as lucky. What I'm seeing from Atlanta is a breakdown on transition defense. It looked like Indiana was just running. If you go to a basketball practice, you see a 3-man weave to 3-on-2. It looks like Indiana was just doing a practice drill a lot of times because there was miscommunication on who should stop ball or who should get help side. They don't track transition points on the ESPN tracker, but in comparison, Indiana had 46 paint points compared to Atlanta's 20. When we look at the bigger picture of our defense, our rotations are just too slow, and that's outside of transition. I saw it a lot with BG. Her peripheral vision, her reaction time has been off. Our defense looked a lot stronger with Nia Coffey. She was our X factor. She's a very strong defender, but she's also a good three-point shooter. She can spread the floor the way that Karl wants to with that perimeter shot. I would not be surprised to see more minutes. I understand BG's importance. Like, when she gets going, her mid-range, her shots around the basket can be automatic. But sometimes she has those moments where she dries a bone. So Nia Coffey could end up being even if she's not a starter, she can end up averaging more minutes than BG because BG also needs to rest. BG is getting away from taking that 3-point shot that we saw her taking in the preseason. I want to see her take more. It looks good. The form's there. Take more of those shots. We have to limit our offensive fouls. There were so many offensive fouls called in that game on both sides, right? Just a matter of not getting set to make that screen, a matter of the guard not waiting for that setup to come and moving a little bit too quickly. We had to limit that because our turnovers are crazy. Our shot selection down the stretch looked better than it did in that first game, but we still had our moments that, Rhyne Howard taking a wild attempt because she gets in these moments where it's a game within a game and she's a competitor. I like that about her spirit. I like that about the matchup against her and Caitlin Clark. I think she gets really excited about this matchup and she takes it upon herself to lock in on defense. And that's what I want to see because I've seen people criticize her defense saying that she's not a strong defender. I think that she's a strong defender whenever she wants to be. And hopefully that's all the time because she held Caitlin Clark to just 11 points. Allisha Gray is another one who, when she gets frustrated, her shot selection gets a little wild. She can get to the basket whenever she wants to. She's probably one of the quickest guards in the league, but she has to get that under control. And she doesn't get the fouls that she's looking for because she's so out of control. Because we got to think about the referees are people too. And they're watching these things in the moment. They're not going to get a chance to review every single foul. So when it's live action and you're coming in the hole out of control, the referee doesn't even see what happens to call the foul. So she has to get her takes under control. She has to get some pace in her game. I've been saying that since last season. I haven't really seen the improvement there, but I'm hoping that we see more of that moving through the season because we're going to need her. We need her to stay locked into the game. She's one of our best scorers and one of our most experienced guard, especially since Jordan Canada is out right now with that knee injury. Right now, I can't complain about Karl Smesko's rotations. I think that he gets it right for the most part. I think he has a good temperature on his personnel. He knows when to take them out. He knows when to hold them, when to fold them. I think we didn't see a lot of PaoPao in the second half of that first matchup against Indiana because she got in her head a little bit when she picked up those 2 quick fouls, and you could tell that she was not playing with the intensity or the fire that we know that she can play with. She redeemed herself in this second game, and I really like what I saw from her. I still think that she's the stronger player because Shatori Kimbrough has just been really inconsistent, and I'm disappointed in that because I was very excited about her coming to Atlanta because I like what I saw from her in Washington, and I think that she can be a strong guard. But she has to lock in because the consistency is just not there. She's out there looking like the rookie. So right now the bench for Atlanta is really just Nia Coffey when we have Maya Caldwell and Kimbrough. And Maya was a lot stronger last season in the Tanisha Wright system. I don't know if it's because this system emphasizes 3-point shooting and she's not really a 3-point shooter. I like how she can get downhill and go to the basket, but right now it looks like she's second guessing herself a lot. And she's not giving us the spark that we want to see offensively from her off of the bench, while she can be a really strong defender. And I think that she does impact on the defensive end. At this point in the game, with the talent levels on both sides, we got to see you play on both sides. The Indiana Fever's biggest improvement from game 1 to game 2 was Sophie Cunningham. Sophie Cunningham is a menace on defense. Like her or not, she impacts the game on the defensive end and it bothers people. Her whole aura on the court bothers people. I've compared her to Dylan Brooks, and I think that comparison still rings true. She's one of those players that you really don't want defending you. I'm positive that she's going to end up breaking that starting lineup over Dewanna Bonner because Bonner still hasn't found her place in Indiana. With Connecticut, she was really bailed out of having to be a post player, right? Because she had Brianna Jones and she had Alyssa Thomas. Right now, she's having to bang down low more than what I've seen her do in the past, and that's impacting her game. I think that's impacting her game on both sides because it takes a lot of energy to bang with Brianna Jones and BG. I feel like every time Brianna Jones got the matchup with Dewanna Bonner, it was barbecue chicken alert. She was cooking. And DB, we see her. She, is the Slim Reaper. She's not big enough. You're too little in this regard. So she's having difficulties in that post matchup, and that's where Indiana has her. She's really not an option offensively. She's not taking a lot of shots. She had 1 point in that game. She had 0 points in the first matchup. Since she is being paired up in that post, defensively, she's not impacting the game like you would hope that she would. She's really not getting a lot of rebounds. I saw them switch off and put her on Rhyne Howard to try to get that length to impact Rhyne Howard's shot, but Ryan's just too quick for her. So she's having issues with this new role. I don't know what they need to do for her to fit in, but they have to figure it out because she costs too much money for it to not be producing. Natasha Howard, on the other hand, looks great. I think that she is going to end up being the best offseason move for them. She just did a really good job with off-ball movement and doing the solid things that a post player needs to do, doing the fundamental things that you expect from a veteran player. Because of her off-ball movement, I think that she's perfect in this system to be a target for Clark. They're still working out some chemistry because there were some missed passes that could have ended up being assists. But overall, I think that she's doing a great job and she's a great fit for this. Caitlin Clark doesn't make a three in this game, and that's an ode to Rhyne Howard. I think Rhyne Howard defended her really well, held her to 11 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. And a good bulk of those points came from the free throw line. And that's something that I feel like has improved in Clark's game. Because outside of that, really, I haven't seen much of an improvement from her rookie season to now. Right now, she does have a few less turnovers. So last season, she averaged 5. Right now, she's averaging around 3. So there is an improvement there. That drive into the basket and mid-range shot is something that she implemented during the second half of the season. So I can't really say that I've seen an improvement in that. I will say she's a foul merchant and she has gotten even more crafty in how she draws fouls. And that's the biggest improvement I see. People aren't talking about this, but what Caitlin Clark is bringing to the W is very reminiscent of what we see in the men's league, especially from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's a player that there's a lot of discourse surrounding him being a foul merchant. And I think that we have to start looking at that. And old school basketball fans are like, yeah, I don't like that. I think it's lame, or, it's just something that is frowned upon from OG basketball fans. But as a coach, I have to say that it is a strategy. She's doing a lot of hooking, a lot of holding, and it's deceptive to the refs. And what we often see, or what the referees often see, is the retaliation. So now teams are going to have to strategize the counter for that. We know that she's a foul merchant. We know that she knows how to draw fouls. We know that she's going to hook and hold players and sneak in a little elbow. What are we going to do to counter that? Let's go ahead and we have to get to the point that we can have, as players, a better discourse with the referees instead of the heated emotional reactions that we have with the referees that end up being a tech or end up just looking like we're whining. Because there are ways to talk to the referees to get them to look out for things. Moving into the Chicago versus New York matchup, Chicago loses by 25. Honestly, I'm not surprised by Chicago losing by so much in these recent games because I saw what they looked like against Brazil. And if you follow me, you know that I said that I'm worried about the Sky after that game because Brazil was way less talented than what we're going to see from an everyday WNBA team. So I was worried then. Right now, it looks like the game plan that the coaches and the front office has does not fit their personnel. Right now, we're seeing Chicago play a lot of perimeter basketball. They're running a 4-out. And in this 4-out, Kamilla Cardoso is the one that is in. She's 6'7". I understand why that's a thing, but Kamilla is not ready yet. She's not strong enough yet. Now, if we're doing this to get her ready, then I completely understand. I understand the process, but I still don't think that this is the best offense for the personnel that you got because truthfully, we need to start looking at Chicago similarly to how we're looking at the Valkyries. I've said it many times. The Valkyrie is a team that's full of a bunch of 6 men. Or 6 players. Chicago is the same. Courtney Vandersloot would not be a starting guard on any other team in the W that has strong guards, or any of the top teams in the W, should I say. Even though I had high expectations for Vandersloot this season, I felt like she could be a top 5 leader in assists because of her targets in Kamilla and Angel. I have to be realistic in my view because she's not going to be a high usage player at this point. I think we're going to have to see a little more of HVL. I honestly think that Haley Van Lith had a bit of a stronger game than Vandersloot. Although Vandersloot right now is a better scorer, I think that Vandersloot has a good gauge on when to stop and pop versus when to take it down to the hole. Although HVL has really good in-air body control. Like she has a good hang time that she's able to use her body well to draw fouls on those trips downhill. But I would like to see her incorporate a stop and pop a little bit more. So Vandersloot is not going to be that saving grace that I wanted her to be. Kamilla Cardoso is not ready to have the offense, to be the center of the offense, and Chicago is not a perimeter team. They don't have the personnel to be a perimeter team. I would much prefer for them to do a 3-in, 2-out, more of a triangle offense where they have more people in that mid-range area. They're setting a little more screens because right now I'm seeing a lot of standing and they don't have the team that can create shots on their own. So they're going to need more screens. The hard truth is that Kamilla and Angel are with a franchise that is not prioritizing their development. And it's really interesting to see when you know that that is the background of Jeff, who is the GM. His background is in player development. But if they were prioritizing the development of the players they're centering their franchise around, then they would have gotten another post player to be that veteran leadership. Right now, Angel and Kamilla have had to navigate the W with no veteran leadership. I said it before the draft. Angel would not be a starter if she went to any other team with a strong post player. The truth is the development is lacking. And as a youth basketball coach, I'm never going to stop talking about the fact that the development is lacking from the root. In the women's game, there is such a gap in talent and skill amongst teams. So you'll have a youth team that is really good, crazy good. They're blowing teams out because the competition that they're playing is just trash. It's just really low, just to keep it frank. So you have really good teams playing against really weak teams, and they get the stats up, they get scouted, and they go to these colleges. And college really isn't development. College is about winning, and the youth level should be about development. But you have the youth level so watered down because you have middle school coaches hunting championships. You got AAU teams just wanting to win and be on a Nike or Puma circuit. So they just want to be winners. Nobody is developing players. And then couple it with the patriarchy, because I can never stop talking about this. The fact that girls have a whole different world to aspire to than young boys. So young girls don't dedicate the same amount of time to athletics, to their craft, as young boys do, because that's what boys are supposed to be doing. Boys are supposed to be playing basketball. Boys are supposed to be in the weight room working out. Girls aren't doing that. And if they are doing that, it's rare. It's a rarity. And the ones that are doing that, we see that it shows. But there's no reason for Angel and Kamilla to have skated through these youth programs with the form of, someone still shooting it from the hip, still bringing the ball low, not releasing from over their head. Those things happen because, they're making it at this level, so the coach isn't correcting it when they should be correcting it, and now they're to a point where it's not gonna fly. Angel Reese got her shot blocked. It wasn't a matter of inaccuracy. Like, a lot of the shot attempts that she took, we didn't even get to see the accuracy on them, because you got skilled players like Jonquel Jones and Breanna Stewart that sent that shit right back. And that's what's gonna happen when the form isn't there, the mechanics aren't there, and the problem is at the root. But we can't take that back. We can't live in the past. Angel can't live in the past. Right now, Chicago has to figure out what can they do to help their post play right now, because E. Will is a veteran, but honestly, she has bad form. I'm seeing E. Will shoot from her chest, and she's 6'3". So Chicago has to fix their veteran leadership in the post. They went and got veteran guards, hoping that the guards would mask the problem, but all they did was put a bad makeup job on it. Okay, we got guards that can get them the ball, but now that they're getting the ball, now they're gonna have to understand what to do with the ball, and that's gonna come from development. And we saw Angel develop in Unrivaled, but that was without help defense, and it takes 10,000 hours to master something, right? She doesn't have the time right now, where it's going to take a lot of time to really see that growth. So right now, Chicago fans are going to have to be patient. You're going to have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable with losing. And I'm seeing a lot of people saying that, I can't wait till Angel gets out of Chicago. And to a certain extent, I agree. If Chicago's not going to do what they need to do to develop her, to bring in, someone of a higher caliber, I don't even know if they could do that yet, because of the reputation that they've set for themselves, and with all the players leaving after they won the championship. I don't know if Chicago even has the reputation or the facilities to bring in the high caliber player that they need to bring in order for the organization to be successful. So right now, Angel is going to be going through a very rough 3 to 4 years of this rookie contract, and we have to brace ourselves for that. Continue to send her love and motivate her. I understand what's happening. You won't see me making such harsh criticism on her, because I understand, she's dealing with things outside of the game. On top of needing to develop in certain areas, she's also a 23-year-old person that's dealing with a high level of racism, 1960s stuff, So as a Black woman, I understand that piece of it, and I'm giving her grace right now. But Chicago has to make changes. It's hard to compare Tyler Marsh and Teaspoon. I'm seeing a lot of discourse around, Chicago could have just kept Teaspoon for this. There were moments last season that I didn't really understand the X's and O's side of what Teaspoon was trying to do. I think that Teaspoon was a great motivator and helped her players navigate the emotional side of the game really well. And I think that she did a great job at protecting her players when it came to the media and things like that. But honestly, I hadn't bought in all the way with her actual game plan. Tyler Marsh, I have not bought into Tyler Marsh either, because I think that they're really ambitious at this point with what they're wanting and with the reality of what they have. But we have to also look at the personnel from last season to now. They were a much stronger team. The offense is going to look different when you have Chennedy Carter and Marina Mabrey and even Dana Evans. The team looked completely different. I can't compare last year to this year with good faith because it's just they just don't compare, to be honest. The only thing that is constant is that Angel Reese and Kamilla were there, and now they're having a tougher time because they don't have Chennedy Carter. They don't have Marina Mabrey to be those guards to alleviate some of the offensive load to help get them open. And I can say that Teaspoon did have Angel in the post more than what I'm seeing Tyler Marsh have her at. Tyler Marsh let up off of the point forward in this matchup against the Liberty. It was a lot less than it was in the previous matchup, but I don't like Angel out on the perimeter just standing around looking for the ball. I need Angel right in that mid-range, right around the free throw line, right around the box. That's where I want her to live until, she proves that three-point shot and gets a little more comfortable in it. I also see a lot of people saying that, Chennedy Carter should be back. Chicago needs to hit up Chennedy Carter's stat. I've been very vocal about how I feel about Chennedy Carter. I think that she's an amazing player. I think that she's a common denominator for things that have happened with her teams in the past when it comes to locker room issues. I also see what she does online in the media. I don't think that she would have helped any of the off-court things that are happening with Chicago. And I'm a coach where, I will sink the ship. I'm not putting my team under to keep the talent. I will lose without you. That's how I feel about it. So I don't miss Chennedy Carter. I think that Chicago needs a complete overhaul in their strategy. Take Kia Nurse out of that starting lineup and put Beck Allen in. She's proven time and time again that she's better for the lineup. She also gives a little more length. She's a little taller. She has that three-point shot. She hustles more. Michaela Onyenwere has to step up. We have to get out of this 4-out. We have to get more high-low action between Angel and Kamilla because Angel is still the best passer to Kamilla. And sometimes the best passer to the post is another post because they know where you want it. Vandersloot needs a little more rest. I would like to see a quicker sub for her so she can stay fresh. I just saw her fumbled the ball a lot. Her passes were off target. I think the HVL is doing a really good job, to be honest. And I wouldn't even be mad if we just went with HVL in the starting lineup because we already know that this is going to be a struggle season. So if we're going to struggle, let's struggle. Let's struggle for a purpose, though. Let's struggle in order to make these players better. Like even get Maddie Westbell some more reps because Maddie Westbell has a high ceiling. And I think that she's one of the better players in regard to knowing when to stop and pop. So get Maddie Westbell a little more time. If we're going to have a struggle season, let's struggle with a purpose. That's my motto for Chicago. But I think they need a complete overhaul in what the game plan is and start to get real about what they have instead of this ambitious take that they have on their team right now. But what are your thoughts, Hoops Tribe? How you feeling about all of these matchups? What are the highlights of this week for you? Let's talk hoops.